$800 for the lot. Picked up these gems on Facebook Marketplace for $800. I'm working on this blue four-wheeler, this Yamaha Moto 480, and I put a new carburetor on here and didn't clean up the fuel tank, so we've got this nice goopy sludge. This thing ran pretty good for not very long, and then it stopped working, and totally makes sense why. That is just a bunch of just nasty old gas varnish. So got a new fuel switch. This thing stopped working. I kind of made it work, but then again those lines just filled full of gunk. So it should be good to go now. We got a new one of those guys on here. Cleaned out the gas tank, used some carburetor cleaner in there, switched it around a whole bunch, got it all cleaned out and going. Got a new cheap carburetor. Now we just have to get this old throttle cable. It's connected to that needle, and I don't know all the components in there, but that middle cylinder needs to slide out so we can get the throttle cable off, so we can put that in the new one, and then we're good to put it back together. And put a new CDI on this. That was a couple $100, but that was the problem. So put a new battery in it, and a cheap carburetor, new fuel on-off switch, and should be good to go. Oh yeah, also did a full set of tires on this. I think they were about $50 a piece. So this ATV has a little more into it than I would have liked, but should be a good running machine after we're done. So just noticed this too. You can see this float bowl right here. We already have liquid in there. The other one's good, but this one definitely has some gas in there. So that's what you can expect from these cheap China things. I mean, this thing is less than hours old, so in use. It's been sitting in the garage for a couple months, soaking in the oil or the gas. And that float probably doesn't work the way it should. Okay, should we see if it fires up? It's all back together. Let's put the choke on. Turn the key on. I forgot that I started doing that. So it was working great. Now I don't feel like the starter's engaging. So like I said, we had this back together. So it was running, it was driving, and then that's when the new cheap carburetor got gummed up. And right about the same time, I was just trying to start at the starter, and it sounded like it lost compression. Well, now that we got this new carburetor all back together, we did lose compression. We have lost our timing chain. I don't know where it's at. I mean, obviously I can't see it. Must be down here in the lower end. So we're gonna go ahead and take off the top end. It'll expose the piston, and we've got to find that timing chain, whether it's chewed up or who knows what happened to that. But I mean, I only had this running for a short period of time, but it was running. It did have compression enough to start and run and drive. Okay, we got the engine apart. We do have a lot of crusty buildup on the cylinder head there, on the valves. And we did find our chain here. So that was broken. I don't know what caused it to break, but it is broken. We do have a lot of buildup on the piston as well. The cylinder, I haven't cleaned it off too much, but it looks pretty good condition. No scoring or anything that I've seen. A lot of oil in there. I guess it was just, I don't know if that was in the, I guess it wasn't in the cylinder head, so that's good. But yeah, the sides there were really lubricated. I guess that's just from cranking it over as much as we have done today. Nothing, obviously nothing in the exhaust wetness wise, just because we had no connection between the lower end and upper end. But I guess I don't know what's available for this. I guess we'll try to order a timing chain kit, maybe a top end rebuild kit. Who even knows? So this one's at a standstill again. Out of the 4, we're down to 2. And honestly, this one was the best looking one, the one that I thought was closest to we're going to be running. And this one has been I guess the second most amount of work. This little Suzuki little two-stroke has done great. Put a new seat on it, new tank on it, new cheap China carburetor, and I think a new fuel petcock on there too. I think everything we put new throttle cables on, so I think this one got a new throttle cable, but that wasn't really needed. It was mostly the carburetor that was gummed up. But this thing's been a runner. It does have, I think we were having to use the brakes a lot. It does not, the clutch is not working right, so it's, for whatever reason, it's spinning regardless of the engine spinning. It does seem like it has some functionality where it's not completely, you're not 1-to-1 ratio, but it doesn't free spin, I guess. So that one was the easiest to get going. The other two, the Suzuki 230 and the, what was the other one? Suzuki 80. The Suzuki 80 was in parts and pieces, and it looked like it was a long ways off from running. The Suzuki 230, got it running, and ended up getting rid of it. Can't remember why. I think I got it running, drove it around a little bit, but I couldn't get it to idle, or I couldn't get it to, I think I couldn't get it to idle. So I just cut my losses on those two, decided to spend my money on these, and this will be the determining factor on whether or not we continue to invest in this one, or if we are done here. I really hope we can get it done. Like I said, we got battery, CDI, and we've got at least $300 into this, probably more. But it's always a gamble, and didn't really plan on this being a problem because it had compression before. So that's a wrap on today's progress, and we'll hit the computer up, see if we can order some more parts for this guy. Also, here is the timing chain guides, which have seen some life. That you can see some scoring in the case there. Neither one of them were connected. I don't know how they're supposed to bolt on or whatever. That one's got some pretty severe. This one looks like it's metal or metal cased. It had some plastic inserted in there, but definitely chewed up on this one. And that might just be that they fell out of place and then they got just run over. But I don't know what happened to that chain. I hope there's not any damage in that lower end. Hopefully that lower cam is in good condition. Looks good, I guess.